Okay. And was there a point when you decided that you're not going to go after investors' money, that you are going to bootstrap? Was that from the very beginning, or was it at the point when you realized you are growing enough to not go there?
No, we've never felt that we're growing enough and doing well enough to not consider funding, because I think it should always be a question. I think that the fact is that funding is just simply it's a tool that you need to always consider as a possibility. It doesn't matter about whether you're bootstrapping or funding or borrowing or doing whatever. What matters is what do you need the money for, and what would you spend it on, and what would you get for your money. So in some ways, we did consider funding. We had meetings with angels. We went and had a couple of meetings with some VCs. God knows what they thought of us, but they certainly didn't try to overwhelm us with cash. It's not like we've never turned down a formalized funding offer. We never got that far. But one of the reasons why we always hesitated is because we just didn't quite know what we would do with the money. And I can totally see now in hindsight, how you see people calling themselves serial entrepreneurs or second time founder, or they exit from one and then they immediately start a new business. It's because it's so addictive. Once you know and understand how to solve the problems and what you're doing, it becomes addictive, because it's a matter of pain and regret. When I look back at 2011, 2012, how little I knew, the incredible community that we have now, even LinkedIn, the amount of wisdom that you can access pretty quickly nowadays because of the absolute explosion of content marketing and events and online, means that, I was hungry for talking to somebody who could have recognized what we were doing at the time and given us some good advice. So it could have gone a very different way. But basically, we were on our own, not really understanding the context of the thing that we had in front of us. So as a result, we moved a lot more slowly, commercially, and from a business perspective than we probably could have done had we had funding and support and advice. But it was because I just thought, well, I'd rather make £1 million slowly than spend £1 million fast and waste it. So we did just choose to take the harder, rockier path, essentially allowing ourselves more room to make a mistake. Because if we did make a mistake, it would just be me and Keith's assets that would be under pressure. If we'd borrowed money, then it would have to be me working to pay it back, or likewise Keith would have had to go into contracting, or we'd have had to exit the tool at a loss or whatever. But I didn't want to be in a situation where I was having to face people I'd taken money from that I couldn't pay back. So I think that's probably quite a fairly prosaic position that I take about money and borrowing, which I don't think is necessarily good business advice.